Hey folks, welcome back to another fun podcast today, and welcome to my channel, Tampa Florida Living. We are going to dive into Lagoon Living in Tampa Bay. Is it worth the hype? You know, Metro Places is the developer that came on the scene a few years back, and they created one of the craziest concepts, which is a crystal lagoon. Now, for those of you that are not aware of what a crystal lagoon is, it's not this muddy trap. It's pretty much a Caribbean 5-star resort type lagoon that is 5 to 15 acres, right? It's a swimming pool that you just feel like you're in the Caribbean. Well, what they did was they plunked these things down in our newer suburbs and they started building communities around them. So it's giving you essentially the ultimate community pool to live by. And for those of you that are not even from Florida, you're going to look at this thing and say, holy smokes, this is like an oasis in the middle of nowhere. I got to see this in person. So let me show you what I mean. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you. This is the Epperson Lagoon. This was the very first of their concepts, right? This is where it all started. This is a 5-acre lagoon in Wesley Chapel, which is a suburb north of Tampa, about 35 minutes. This was actually the first crystal lagoon in the entire nation right here. Now, current day, we have 4, and we have the 5th on its way. I believe it's about to have its launch this month, actually. But to give you an idea, I'm just going to scroll down here. I mean, these lagoons, they've got tons of amenities. They've got, water slides for the kiddos. They've got obstacle courses. They've got, you can take a paddle board out in the morning if you just want to get like a really nice exercise in the morning. Just a great place for communities to come together, visit with your neighbors and your friends. And then right here in this picture, you can kind of see the concept, right? It's like this massive, massive pool. Yes, it has white sand beach all around it, so to give you that tropical feel. And then you can see in the background here, townhomes, homes. I mean, they build thousands of homes all around it, and it just becomes this brand new community concept, tons of kids, tons of family, yoga on the lawn. I mean, just a full event calendar, but, and we'll get into that in a minute. I just really wanted to show you a quick version of what that concept looked like. But for those of you that have never heard of a lagoon, it's like, why would they put lagoons in these communities? Why come up with this concept? I mean, the easy one is, yeah, look at that thing. Right? It's beautiful. But so many people ask, like, well, aren't they wasting resources? Aren't they, wasting water? Well, here in Tampa and specifically Florida, golf courses used to be the big thing, right? Golf course communities. In fact, I think we have something like 30 within 20 miles. And then if you go another 20 miles out, it like almost doubles to 60 something golf courses here in Tampa. So that was a really big thing for decades. But, the resources to maintain a golf course, right? Fertilizer, water, ponds, I mean, you name it, it's just a lot. And they found that these crystal lagoons are actually used by more different type of people, right? Retirees, kids, families, everybody uses them, where everybody doesn't always go golfing. But they realize that these new modern technology that they built these lagoons with, they're actually more energy efficient and more resourceful than having something like a golf course. So now this is kind of taken over. This is the new Florida way, right? Is building these massive lagoons, building communities around them, and it's becoming the new, ultimate lifestyle. And they're going further than these lagoons. And we'll talk about the amenities here shortly. But in these communities, it's almost like, they're creating paradise. They're creating so where you really don't have to leave your community outside of groceries and gas and maybe going to work. But when you come home, your paradise is right there. So further in this, we are also going to talk about the pros and cons of living in these communities. It's not all sunshine and rainbows. There are some downsides, and I want you to understand that. But moving on, it's like, why are they so popular? Well, I'm going to tell you that the obvious here is the lagoon. Past that, you're going to see, let me go ahead and show you this map. This is a community map from Morejon, and we'll probably circle back to this. But you can see they're putting these lagoons like right in the center and then building everything around it. And there's just tons of amenities, miles of trails, lagoons, parks, playgrounds. They'll have all of the nearby grocery stores and amenities around them, and then even schools. And so when you really build out that concept, it's kind of like a stay and play mentality. It's like, you want to be home. You want to, meet your neighbors out because they have those calendar of events and things to do. And so they're just really becoming popular. Okay. On top of that, the Metro Places, the builder, or the developer, is someone that, they really kind of took an innovative approach. Some of these are called the connected cities. One of the other ones, Angeline, that's popping off, they have their own community garden, and Moffitt Cancer, built a research center there. So they're really going down that health and wellness side of things. So I just really think that they're taking a different approach than you're seeing with the typical developer. Solar streetlights, golf cart paths that are like going green with the solar streetlights and the electric car pass and all that stuff. They actually have technology that's not being used yet, but I heard they're like electric cars that will almost like a shuttle. It'll pick you up from your house and drop it off at the lagoon if you don't have a golf cart. And then, of course, the Wi-Fi setup. They have a system called Ultra-Fi Wi-Fi that they actually got an award for. I want to say the speeds are up to like 1 terabyte. But the way to think about that is that in your home and part of your HOA and CDD fees, which again, we'll talk about that, you do get free Wi-Fi, and you're going to have that at your house. And then there's going to be hotspots throughout the community. So over at the lagoon, let's say you want to go work on a Wednesday at the lagoon, you can have a hotspot and you can just pull out your laptop and start working from the lagoon. And that's just a really nice thing. Maybe you just want to go a simple approach and turn on some music on Pandora or, your Apple playlist or whatever. You just tap in Wi-Fi right from the beach and really have your own little beach experience, right? So let's talk about where to find these, because now it's like, okay, well, I like the concept, but where can I find these things, right? So we're going to go right here to their communities. Let me start by saying location. Like I said, they're getting really popular. So you're going to start seeing them pop up. Now, you're seeing a lot of red and blue pins, right? This is not saying that these are all lagoon communities. Lagoon communities are going to be the blue communities. Here's Tampa, and specifically downtown Tampa. You're going to see a few of them up here to the north. This is Epperson. Literally touching it is going to be Morejon. Those two are open. So Epperson was the very first one to open up. Down here, you're going to have South Shore Bay. That was the second one. And then, Morejon is the third one. Morejon actually has the 15-acre lagoon, where everybody else has about a 5-acre lagoon. That's triple the size. It is the largest lagoon in the entire country right now. And then you're going to have the new one, Angeline, that I told you has the Moffitt Cancer Research Center, as well as the garden. And one thing that's neat about this, if I could zoom in and kind of show you, these two lagoons are touching. They're called sister cities or connected communities. They're going to kind of merge, and they haven't really announced it, but they're going to somewhat merge, and you can almost hop back and forth to the different lagoons. But this is right off of I-75. That takes you from Tampa all the way up to Michigan. So it's right on a main interstate. That's going to drop you here right into downtown Tampa. So about 35 to 40 minutes into downtown Tampa, you can live in paradise. Wesley Chapel, that suburb, has all the amenities, restaurants, dining, malls, anything you think of, they got it right there. That suburb is probably our hottest suburb, okay? Over here on the left side, or the western side, you're going to have Angeline, which I just described to you. That's going to follow the Veterans Expressway. It is a toll road, but super easy to travel on. And that's going to drop you in right here to the Tampa airport, as well as these 3 bridges, which takes you over to our beaches, right? Clearwater Beach up here, St. Pete Beach down here. Some of the best beaches in the entire country. Now, one of the areas that's super popular, sorry about the map movement here. Remember, here's Tampa. Down here, you're going to have South Shore Bay. But our newest one, it's opening up here in a month, is right down here in Parrish. That's going to be called Sea Air. And I'm very curious to see what that looks like at their grand opening in a few weeks. But in case you're looking to live a little bit closer to Sarasota, but more affordable price, this Parrish area is really exploding. And it's going to give you access to St. Pete beaches, Tampa, and then again, a little bit further south, Sarasota. But you have your own quiet community. You just have to go about 30, 40 minutes to each of those major cities. All right. So this is where to find them. What do we have? We got Angeline. I just told you about that. We've got Epperson. We're going to have Morejon up there. And then again, I just told you Sierra coming soon here in 2024. There's a few others, and you're going to see all these communities. They're not all lagoon communities. They are communities that Metro Places builds at, which again, that tells me that they are not a rookie builder. They know what they're doing. They have an amazing product. And, they really bring in multiple builders. So let's go back to that Morejon map real quick. This is one of those northern communities. There's thousands of homes in here, just to give you a feel for just the size of one of those communities. Here's a lagoon. You've got Miranda Homes as a builder. You got LGI Homes, DR Horton, Lennar, there's a 55 plus community with pickleball and its own private gated entrance and its own pool. So if you're 55 plus, you have, these communities catered to you as well. Then they have Biscayne Homes and Homes by West Bay kind of treating that upper end. And then if we're talking specifically for Mirada, Casa Fresca, which is one of our affordable builders, I actually had this in one of my other videos. They are getting ready to launch in the summertime the Bold product, which is kind of a new upper end product with those tile bare roofs. They're going to have, and as I saw it down in Lithia, really nice product. It's kind of like the standalone tubs. It's an upgrade from their level 1 product, but it's not as quite as high end as maybe a Homes by West Bay. So it's going to fill that like $500,000 to $800,000 gap is what you can expect. Now, looking at this map again, right up here to the top, all this beige area, that's future development, commercial space. You can see right here, there's future development as well. Those are things that are coming because this is an expanding and growing area. And a lot of these, they're building around the community. It's kind of like a build it and they will come. That commercial space comes after they get residents in there. They do already have a Publix right at the entrance, and they do actually have 2 charter schools open already. So with these communities, instead of like you having to squeeze in and go to the public schools, which you can if you like that option, they're actually building brand new schools, some of those being STEM schools. The other ones are really innovative schools where they're teaching cybersecurity, they're teaching welding. I mean, just some crazy stuff, but stuff that you really don't get in a public school or even private school. And I find a ton of people really gravitating to that, especially since Tampa's such an emerging tech city right now. So let's talk about some of those amenities, right? I get pumped up with this. I love these communities. The amenities are a big deal. So let's hop right back to this. Give me 1 second as I pull this up. Let's see. Let's just go into Mirada. You can see this list of communities. By the way, this is a beautiful entrance. When you're coming into this thing, the entrance to these places are absolutely stunning. And let's see here, right down here at the bottom. This is a really good one. It's like, coming in. So the Lagoon. Let's talk about the Lagoon first. You have swim up tiki bars. Okay. You have, swim up tiki bars. They have a restaurant. They have live music. They have a section where you could rent paddle boards and go paddle boarding in the morning or kayaking. They've got a beach sand all around it. They have a little island that you can go waist deep into and just kind of chill in the middle of the lagoon with a cocktail. Then they're going to have beach volleyball. They're going to have that massive water slide. They're going to have inflatable obstacle course. I mean, it's literally crazy. Like my kids, will go nuts if they see something like that. And I mean, just growing up as a kid, if I had something like that I could go to on weekends, I mean, that would be a game changer. They do have the UltraFi Wi-Fi, which I did tell you about, included in the HOA and CDD. So I'm going to go ahead and rip the Band-Aid off and tell you about that. Some people, HOAs, we know what that is. It's a management company that, tells you, hey, you can't paint your house neon sparkly pink, right? We're going to have some consistency throughout the neighborhood and make it look good. And, the flowers are always going to be blooming and the trees are always going to look solid. So that's going to help your neighborhood look really nice. On the CDD, what that is it's going to be a bond or a fee that the developer is going to pull out when they first develop these things, specifically for all the amenities. So we're talking the Lagoon, the solar street lights, like any of those major amenities like parks and playgrounds, that's going to come from a CDD. And then they're going to divide that up proportionately between the small homes and the large homes throughout the entire community. So you're going to range probably between $2,000 to $3,000 a year, and that's going to be paid on top of your taxes, right? So give you an example here. Let's say you buy a $500,000 home. Random number here. Your HOA is going to cost about $110, and then you're going to have about a $2,000 fee. So let's just call it $250 to $300 a month. And right away, most people go, whoa, wait a minute, right? Just understand that gives you full access to the lagoons, and they give you guest passes for when you have like guests in town or family in town that also want to do this. Because let's face it, you move here and you live in Florida, you're going to have a lot of friends wanting to hang out with you because you're going to be the cool kid on the block. The second part of that is, remember, Wi-Fi is included and a 165 package cable package is included. So When I break that down a little bit, if I'm paying 250 to 300 per month, probably about $100 to $150 of that is just in my Wi-Fi and cable. And I don't know anybody that doesn't pay for Wi-Fi and cable. So right away, it's just another way of looking at it. It's like, hey, you're at least getting something for it. Not only that, but you got these trails and parks and the lagoon. And to me, that money's worth it. I mean, I have a pool here in my house, a private pool. And I don't live in a lagoon community, but I have a private pool, and I pay about $200 a month just to maintain that pool with, pool service, chemicals, energy bill, just electric bill, because I'm always running the pump. So, it's kind of apples to oranges, but I do like to break that down and help people understand, like, you don't have to live in this community. Here's the cost for it, but you do get all of these fun toys, right? So that being said, charter schools, they definitely have those, solar street lights. It's a connected city. So, you're going to have just a lot of new innovative things that are happening, not only with the community, but with the surrounding areas, right? Now, as far as that, top builders, you're going to have about 6 different builders in each of these communities, miles of trails. They've got a small dog park and they've got a big dog park. Then they're going to have a tot lot. So for them kiddos that want to have the playground, the monkey bars, and that is covered because in the summer it gets hot here. You don't want them burning their hands on the metal, playground. So they do have a covered playground. It's going to be tons of green space. For me, that's where I take the Frisbee out and throw that, fly a kite on those breezy days. Golf cart paths, which are pretty cool. And then lush landscaping. I know at one point, one of the neighborhoods had a butterfly garden. That was kind of cool. And then each of them will have their own unique feature. Like I said, the garden over at Angeline, you'll have different things. I think like at Epperson, they have a bald eagle park, which is actually 27-acre setup on the lake there that overlooks bald eagles that are nesting. So you can go out there and bird watch. Super, super cool stuff. Let's talk about it. Okay. Pros and cons. I just told you a ton of pros, right? You're living in paradise. There's an event calendar. So for me, they have, what is it? They have, I can't think of it. Whenever you have a football game on, they'll put the Sunday football game on. They have trivia nights. That's what I was trying to get out. They'll have wine nights, cigar nights. They'll have food truck rallies on weekends sometimes. Anytime they have 4th of July, they'll have fireworks or Easter egg hunts. I mean, it just really, really brings your community together where you can get out, meet your neighbors, or just have friends come visit. And especially if you're not from here, right? You just moved here, maybe you relocated here. Makes it super, super easy to meet your friends and neighbors. Now, what are the cons? Well, the cons that you'll hear people talk about is that, yes, there's fees. There's a CDD fee and HOA. As I just explained, it's a fee and nobody likes fees, but you do get a lot for those fees, right? That you're paying. So don't look at it as a fee as much as, hey, I get all these things and, well, I'm happy to pay for it. Number 2, con is going to be, well, I would say that it's open to the public, and it is. There's no hiding that. But the more populated, the more filled in these communities get, they jack up the prices. So I want to say it's about $40 for a day pass per person. And I don't know about you, but if I have myself, my wife, and 2 kids, I'm not paying $160 to visit the lagoon. Okay, I might do it once, but I'll probably never do it again because I can go to a theme park for that. So if you live there, yes, you're sharing it with people that like, hey, I want to explore the lagoon. I will say this though, again, as they fill out, they start letting less and less, outside of residents come in, the public come in. They start to calculate who's turning in, who's coming in and checking in and buying tickets. So they're cutting back on that, and it's less and less that they're allowing in. They also have now a residents only section, and they also have like areas that you can kind of reserve off for yourself. So, again, they're leaning back to the resident side, but it is open to the public because it is another way of bringing in funding for it. Personally, if I had to, no sugarcoating it, I wish they would have done it exclusive to the neighborhood, because I feel like that would have just made this a much more popular place to live. But it is what it is. I don't make the rules. We just go by them. And at the end of the day, people that live there, they still love it, and that's okay. Here's a curveball. Here's one from the outside in. Let's say that you want to live there, and Well, let me take that back. Here's a curveball, right? It's a pro and a con. The pro is that they have everything from about $300,000 in the villas or the townhomes, all the way up to high end, 1.2, 1.3, $1.5 million in some homes, because they do have different levels of builders, right? That's the pro. The con is, and I've seen this, and I'm just shooting you straight here, is if you are buying a house at $1.3 million or $1.4 million, sometimes it goes about 50-50. 50% of the people in there are like, I don't care, I love it. This is where I want to be. The other 50% of the people that bought in that higher end section are like, I wish I kind of had exclusivity. I wish I was in a neighborhood that was only, people at the same price range. Again, shooting you straight here, feedback from my clients. So sometimes they're like, I wish I wasn't necessarily like mixed in with, with everybody. So that's a pro and a con, a very real one. That being said, the people that move here, the people that love the lagoons, they absolutely love by them. They live by them, and they're just like, man, this is paradise. So the question becomes, is lagoon living for you? Is this something you're going to look into and that you'll like? I always say visit first, because I have people that see it and just immediately their eyes light up. And they're like, this is really cool, but I don't know. Maybe I'm an introvert and I don't know if all those amenities are going to be worth it for me. Well, then maybe it's not for you. But if you're someone like me, who I just talk to a dog, if you put him in front of me, I'll talk to the door, right? I would love that. And I would thrive in that environment. So I would say, definitely check it out. And, if you're coming in town or you're already here and you just really want access to these, we have great relationships with all the different builders. We can get you an appointment to go ahead and see some of these houses or get some tours there. So, definitely call us. I would love to help you out with that. If you have questions about the CDD or the HOA, call us, email us. Our info is right there on the screen. And guys, I'm going to throw this little plug for myself. We have a new Instagram channel. It's actually doing really well right now. Check it out. It's a fun vibe. And, as always, subscribe to our channel so you don't miss our weekly videos, our YouTube channel, and check us out. And we would love to help you if you're moving to Tampa. It's a great place to be. Come down and visit. There's a good chance you're going to want to stay, though. So